guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. The Warriors are progressing well and are among the best teams of the season. But does it have enough to be champion? We believe not, because it lacks defensive strength and a high-caliber star to share the responsibility with Stephen Curry. Surprising rumors: Warriors trading 4 players for Kawhi Leonard from Clippers. The Golden State Warriors appear to have no reason to make a massive trade, but that hasn't stopped the Stephen Curry-led team from being included in all the recent NBA rumors. At 6-1, the Warriors are tied with the Phoenix Suns for second in the Western Conference and have won 3 of those games without Curry. All conventional wisdom is that the Warriors will hang in there and continue to build on their early season success, but recent reports suggest they could land an all-time great via trade. According to Bleacher Report, the Los Angeles Clippers' dream target is Jonathan Kuminga. As a restricted free agent next summer, he can sign anywhere, although the Warriors have the right to match a contract. After 3 games, he was relegated to the bench, so there's a reason to believe he won't want to stay in Golden State. Instead of losing him for nothing, the Warriors could add a two-way star to their roster. Kawhi Leonard is out for an undetermined amount of time with a leg injury, but if he returns this season, the team he's on will get a talent boost ahead of the playoffs. The Warriors could send Kuminga, Kyle Anderson, Andrew Wiggins, and Kevin Looney, plus draft capital, to the Clippers in exchange for Leonard. Such a deal would cut into Golden State's depth, but a starting 5 of Curry, Leonard, Buddy Hield, Draymond Green, and Tracy Jackson-Davis would be excellent. The Dubs would also keep Brandon Podziemski, DeAnthony Melton, Moses Moody, and Gary Payton II on the roster, giving them a solid second unit. Draymond Green and Jordan Poole talk trash about the Warriors' recent win. Steve Kerr has liked playing 12-man rotations this season, and a trade for a star, any star, would put an end to those deep lineups, but adding an All-NBA player? If he's healthy, it's worth considering. Warriors missed on 9-time NBA All-Star because of Jonathan Kuminga. The Golden State Warriors could have had 9-time NBA All-Star Paul George, according to ESPN's own Young Masuk. But Jonathan Kuminga turned out to be the sticking point. The Warriors and Clippers engaged in talks about a potential George opt-in for the final year of his contract worth $48.7 million, and then a trade. The Clippers were willing to make a deal with their division rival, according to sources, but were looking for something of value to help restock their asset cupboard if they were going to take back an undesirable contract and be in the second apron. Swapping George for Andrew Wiggins, who has 3 years and $85 million left on a 4-year, $109 million deal, plus other salaries to make the math work, would have been acceptable only if the Clippers received a young player such as Jonathan Kuminga or Brandon Podziemski and a pick or 2. Draymond Green said on his Draymond Green Show podcast earlier this summer that George wanted to join the Warriors and that he was surprised the Clippers would not at least take something back instead of letting George walk for nothing. But league sources say Kuminga's name never seriously came up in talks of any significance, and the Clippers felt they weren't getting enough positive assets to move forward in this new second apron world. Nothing, a league source told ESPN, is better than something. If the Warriors offered Kuminga and added one of their available 2 unprotected first-round picks, George would have been a Warrior instead of a Sixer. The Warriors would have had a starting lineup of Stephen Curry, Podziemski, George, Draymond Green and either Kevin Looney or Tracy Jackson-Davis, and still have bench depth to compete for a championship. But despite the Golden State's failure to acquire George, they are off to an impressive start with a 6-1 record with their two-way play. They have a top 4 offense and a top 2 defense, which if they can sustain is a strong mark of a championship contender. What makes the ESPN report interesting is the Warriors did not extend Kuminga this offseason. Kuminga would have been a Clipper by now if the Warriors offered him. But now, Kuminga is coming off the bench for the Warriors on a contract year. Anthony Slater of The Athletic reported Kuminga was aiming for an average annual salary of $35 million on a lucrative multi-year extension. The Warriors, however, weren't willing to go above around $30 million. Kuminga would become a restricted free agent at the end of the season. Through the Warriors' first 7 games, Kuminga is averaging 13.6 points on 44.7% overall shooting and just 22.2% from the three-point line, which factored in his demotion to the second unit. The Warriors might be saving Kuminga for a bigger star trade. Their dream trade target, Giannis Antetokounmpo, is rumored to be the next available star in the market as the Milwaukee Bucks are off to a horrific 1-6 start, tied for the worst record in the league this season. However, a recent report doused cold water on the Warriors' dream. CBS Sports national columnist Bill Ryder reported on October 31 that 2 teams are on Antetokounmpo's short list of preferred landing spots should the Bucks trade him. The Warriors are not on the list. Teams are circling and hopeful, one Western Conference team executive said. "I wouldn't be surprised if it happened by the trade deadline," said a top executive of a team that could be in the mix. An Eastern Conference NBA executive has already heard the places believed to be Giannis would-be preferred destinations. "The teams I've heard are Miami and New York, the Nets, not the Knicks." In February, The Athletic reported trading for Antetokounmpo is their dream scenario, as they have long understood that a star wing next to Curry is their cleanest path back to title contention before Curry's late prime fades. Stephen A. Smith blasts Warriors Steve Kerr over Jason Tatum treatment. Stephen A. Smith is not happy. The Golden State Warriors have been rolling ahead of Wednesday night's matchup with the Boston Celtics. The last time Golden State visited Boston, they found themselves down by 40 at halftime, but there is hope that this team will be able to stay a bit more competitive with the team they defeated in the 2022 NBA Finals. Adding a bit of juice to this matchup is the fact that Warriors coach Steve Kerr was the head coach for Team USA in Paris this summer, and made the controversial decision to bench Celtics star Jason Tatum on multiple occasions during the Olympics. Ahead of Wednesday's matchup, ESPN pundit Stephen A. Smith lashed out at Kerr over his treatment of the star on First Take. "To do what he did to Jason Tatum, I hope Jason Tatum embarrassed him, I hope they destroy. I'm not rooting against the Warriors, I'm just talking about Jason Tatum going on there and putting on a show," said Smith. Because remember last point, Steph Curry was awful until the semifinals of the Olympics, he couldn't buy a shot, but you stuck with him. Why? Because damn it, that's Steph Curry, we know what he's going to do eventually, we know how phenomenal and great he is, and you know it because you coach it all the time. So eventually he's going to find his groove, you stuck it out. Jason Tatum can play 4 positions, man, you couldn't find minutes for him in a game? While Tatum's jump shot did appear broken around the time of the Olympics, which was a continuation of a trend that started in the Celtics' playoff run, Team USA still could have used his size and versatility more than Kerr allowed them to at times. One team that has been pulled into the conversation is the Warriors. Apparently, though, if Golden State is looking to make any moves, Giannis involved or not, Brandon Podziemski is off the table. The second-year shooting guard has proved to be one of the Warriors' best draft picks in recent years, and the franchise is unwilling to give him up. According to The Athletic, Mike Dunleavy Jr., Warriors GM, recently let Podziemski know that he has nothing to worry about, saying, "A lot of these other teams are calling about you. They want you, but you're not going anywhere. You're ours." The majority team owner, Joe Lacob, also chimed in. "He told me, you don't have anything to worry about. You're a priority here." Podziemski said he heard from Lacob. "I appreciate that, being a rookie and going into my second year, hearing that from such a prestigious organization. It feels good. I'm wanted somewhere. So, I appreciate them." Meant to follow up Steph Curry? It sounds apparent that Dunleavy and the Warriors intend to have Podziemski around for the long haul. Only in his second year, he's proving he deserves that notion despite a slow start to the season. 7 games in, he's struggling with his shot. Going into Golden State's highly hyped matchup with the Boston Celtics Wednesday night, Podziemski is shooting just 37.8% from the field and 18.2% from 3. His career averages tell a different story, though. His 36% career average from 3 and 44.8% from the field should tell you that he'll eventually get back there. Of course, his numbers are short-lived, considering he's only played 1 full season in the NBA. Are the Warriors planning on Podziemski taking the starting point guard mantle following Steph Curry's eventual retirement? Quite possibly, it would seem so, at least. Curry isn't stepping away just yet, though. If he is to step into those shoes, Podziemski still has a few years of development ahead. If this is Golden State's plan for him, he's A, in the perfect franchise development situation, and B, learning from the perfect example in Curry. In the meantime, it must feel nice knowing that in the eyes of Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy Jr., Podziemski's place with the team is sealed for now.